Hey, this is Warner Crockett for GottaBeMobile.com, coming to you with another GottaBeMobile.com ink. And before we get started on today's ink show, I'm going to talk to you just a bit about our ink show sponsor. That would be Mobile Demand, folks at www.mobiledemand.com. Head on over and check out what they have to offer. They're the makers of rugged tablet PCs that we like to bash around, throw around, get wet, do all kinds of crazy things with. Tell them the gang from GottaBeMobile.com sent you. Keep doing all these ink shows. All right, got the iPad here today, and one of the things that we're going to talk about on the iPad is inking apps. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and so you can see the screen, hopefully. No guarantees here. Might be a couple of flare-outs here and there as we go from some of these blank pages to other pages. But I'm going to test out how, or not really test out, but show you how different apps work with ink on the iPad. Now, this isn't all of them. There's a lot of note-taking apps out there. I don't know how many more. I kind of stopped looking after a while. There are that work with ink. If I see one that I think is of particular interest, I download it and try it out. But some of these use wrist protection or palm protection, as they call it. Some of these do not. Some of these do pretty well with handwriting recognition. Most do not. Some are just novelties. But that's what I'm going to show you today. I hope you're looking forward to checking this out. We'll see how this goes in just a minute. So I'm going to sign off now, turn around the camera, and when you see me again, you won't. You'll be looking at my iPad. Okay, here we are. As you can see, I've got a number of inking apps here on this iPad screen. The first one we're going to take a look at is one that I use primarily. It's called Penultimate. As you see when it comes up here, we've got a screen. You see I've got some ink already laid down on it. I'll show you how that works in just a second. But we've got very few controls here. We can access the different notebooks that we have here. Okay. We create a new notebook. And here we can choose the type of paper, graph, line, plain paper. We'll choose line. We've got some simple settings here. You'll notice it says wrist protection on, tools on top. That allows me to have those tools up there. And that's what I'm going to use. So I'm ready to start inking on Penultimate. Now with the wrist protection, I hit the pen there and I can lay my hand right on the screen. And with this stylus, works really well. Now, I'm a sloppy inker, I'll admit that. Especially when I'm taking notes in rehearsal. I mean, I'm watching the stage and I'm just scribbling notes away as fast as I can. I don't need to pay attention to where my pen is on the screen. Penultimate lets me do that very well. This is the smoothest inking experience I've discovered. It's also one of the simplest. Now, what I've been doing with these files in Penultimate, once I have them, these notebooks rather, is I'll email those to my Evernote files, and it's stored there. It's there when I need it. I don't have to keep things going back to Penultimate if I want to refer back to my notes. That way I can have them on any of the different platforms that I want to take a look at. So there's a quick look at Penultimate. If I want to change pages, I tap that number up here in the corner. If I want to go back a page, I tap in the margin there. I go back in the page. Simple, direct, great inking experience, especially if you're a sloppy inker like me. Alright, let's take a look at another app here. Let's take a look at another one that has wrist protection. It's called Note Taker HD. Again, you can see that I've got some ink already laid down here. We're going to create another sheet. You notice this little green dot over here in the margin. Well, as I start inking, you're going to see it travel down the page. Now, again, it's got wrist protection, so I'm able to put my hand on the page, do what I need to do. We've got a variety of different tools here. Here you can see wrist guard off. I can turn it off, it's on now, and get a sheet thumbnail. Can unstaple the sheet from a previous sheet, transcribe the ink, email as an image, delete the sheet, duplicate the sheet, or give the page a name. And here I can expand the pages as I choose to, depending on what I'm looking at there. This helps a little bit for some folks with writing on that, so I understand, but I usually just kind of leave things pretty much right there on the page. As I travel down the page further, the inking experience on this isn't as smooth as it is in Penultimate. Would it work? Sure, absolutely. But it's just not as smooth. Now let's take a look at a couple of other controls here. Up here under Settings, you see we can flip over, we can name the page, we can call it a favorite, we can favorite it later, we can give it tags, flags, change the background color. This tells me the statistics, how many points, how many pen strokes, all this kind of thing. And here, if we go to View, we can change what we're looking at on the view there, and now you can see these are pages that I've put into this particular app, Note-Taker HD, as far as that's concerned. Of course, I can go to different ones. It works, does a nice job down here. I can look at my tags and the tools that I showed you earlier. A little different menu here, add an ink page, reorder pages, edit tags, email, etc., etc. So there's a lot of different options that you have available to you here in Note-Taker HD. If I want to go back to edit this page, I hit that edit button and I'm back there. So depending on what you're doing, this is a little more featured than Penultimate, but again, for my needs, Penultimate seems to be working pretty darn well. Alright, let's take a look at one more here. Let's take a look at Notarize. This is the third of our apps that have wrist protection, and again, you can see, and then I've already got some ink laid down here. I'll go to the menu, and I'm going to insert a yellow lined page here, and that's where we are. I'm going to go to that page. Now, across here I have bookmarks, audio, text, a pen, a highlighter, and an eraser. So I'm going to choose the pen, and you notice this pop up here, says annotation mode, fast toggle between viewing mode and your last used tool by double tapping. Okay, so, and you'll notice here, get that closer to the screen for you, it says Palm Protect off, I believe. That's our Palm Protect, and it's got hide there. I can choose to hide this menu if I want to, but this means that I've got palm protection on here. I can change the width of my stylus, and of course I've got previous and next and all of that good stuff. Again, this is pretty smooth. Okay, and it does have palm protection, so it's doing okay so far. Now, one thing I discovered with this is that if I hit my hand before the stylus hits the screen, I will get some stray ink on the page there. Getting a little out of camera there, sorry about that. But I like this app. It's my second choice when I'm working with it. Again, you know, we've got all of these apps let you change the ink color and that kind of thing. We've got all of that there. But in terms of smoothness, this works pretty well as long as I remember to get the pen there at the same time that I get my wrist on the screen. Okay, and again, that's Notarize. Really nice app as far as that's concerned. Alright, let's take a look at some apps that have some different inking solutions here. And the first one we're going to take a look at is Fast Finger. You've probably heard about this before. Here we write in this window, and what we write is going to appear up here. So we'll say hello GBM, and we'll come down here and we'll hit this thumb, and it's inserted up there. Okay, not bad. Obviously this is intended for you writing with your finger, not with the stylus. That's not what it's about. It works pretty well. Interestingly enough, a couple of folks used to suggest back before this was a universal app that you use the iPhone version. Remember, that would be reduced down to the size of an iPhone, and then you could put your hand over here in the margin and write all you wanted to, and you wouldn't have to worry about any stray ink or any of that kind of thing. But this is now a universal app, so you can't do that. But you've got some different controls here: trash, undo, redo. This brings up different kinds of backgrounds that you can use: a blackboard, a music score, a notebook, an old book, pocket note. We can choose to email this or put it in our photo library or send it to Twitter. A lot of these apps you can send things to Twitter. Now, what can't you send to Twitter these days? And here we can insert a photo, timestamp, checkbox, clipboard menu, document property, those kinds of things as well. Down here we've got some different commands for when we're inking: carriage return, shifting where the cursor actually is, a space, and this kind of thing. So not bad if you're taking some quick notes. I don't use fast finger a lot. I've tried it out. It doesn't serve my purposes. Depending on what you're doing, it may work for you very, 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 very well. All right, let's take a look at Take Notes. And Take Notes hint pops up. Use 2 fingers to zoom and pan the screen. Turn iPad sideways or use the left and right arrows while zoom to slide document. Yada, yada. Okay. This application, Take Notes, has a lot of controls. I mean, a lot. You can see across the top here we've got a toolbar with different ink colors, different highlighter colors. We can obviously make our own color here as far as that's concerned. We can, we're now in select mode. We're out of select mode. We can make, I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm going to tap this with my finger and not the pen to get it closer to the screen here. We can change here, plus and minus here with the size of the ink from our stylus that we're working with. This is the adjust pen. What does that say? I can't read it. Adjust pen offset, kind of like a calibration, if you will. And we can erase all the pen marks. We go backwards and forwards in pages, different kinds of things. There's our tool menu, or a hints menu rather. You know, we can bring up all kinds of different things or make them go away. All right, so no wrist protection, no palm protection. So if I'm going to write, you see what happens. 2 points there, I'm in trouble. All right, there's my finger. Here's the pen. This just doesn't work for me when I'm writing. I need to be able to lay my hand on that screen. It may work for you. Doesn't work for me. But it's got a lot of features, so depending on what you're going to do, we're in text mode here now, and that's going to pop up the keyboard right there if we wanted to enter some text. So there's a lot of different things that we can do here in this particular app. Again, doesn't work for me. That's called Take Notes. All right, Sketch Notes. Looks like what we're going to do here. We're going to sketch. Okay, this is Sketch Notes, an app for taking notes. There are 3 different modes: writing, drawing, and rearranging. Okay, if we choose write, the keyboard comes up. Well, this is about inking, so we're not going to choose that. So I'm going to choose draw. And again, there's no, let's choose a pen color that we can see here. And you can see that we've got different papers, different brush sizes, different colors, that kind of thing. We're going to draw, and my hand was on the screen, so nothing is happening except these little squiggles down here. Why this is drawing? I guess they subscribe to that Steve Jobs theory that if you need a stylus, you're in trouble. Once again, we can go back to our different notes. You can see I haven't done much in this, but you can see that folks have done some doodles and that kind of thing. We can export it to a PDF, email as a PDF, or email it as text. So not a lot to do on this particular app, but if you're looking to do some doodling, you might want to check out Sketch Notes, Smart Note. Okay, Smart Note, isn't that a pretty little picture? Okay, allows us to open up different notebooks, which we'll do here, which we'll try to do, and we can see we've got this as a test note. All of our tools are down here at the bottom of the screen. We can save it Okay, we can pop up the SmartNote website here, should we choose to. We can turn on audio recordings, just like in OneNote. We can record while we're taking notes here. We can set this as a bookmark. We have a number of different widgets that open up a number of different things that we can do here with SmartNote. We can put in a text label, small form fields, all kinds of different text entry here, and of course we have our pen controls here. I'm going to choose a blue pen, and this is smart. See, if my hand just touches, I get into trouble. Of course, we can also choose a highlighter. Let's not choose yellow since we're there, but we can highlight across there, and we can choose our text color, and we can erase or we can get rid of. Not a lot to this app, but it's pretty nice. The recording is there if that's something that you want to do. But again, for me, if I'm taking notes, I don't want to be sitting here worrying about where my hand is. I just want to be throwing some ink down on the screen, so to speak. All right, let's take a look at Sundry Notes. And Sundry Notes, again, looks like a notepad. All of our controls mostly are down here. We do have a little tool menu up here that lets us pick the type of paper that we want. And let's pick legal paper. And we can insert titles, insert dates, insert time, auto-save notes every so often, bookmarks, this kind of thing. All right, and here we are. We're going to choose why this is a pen. I don't know, but that's the icon for the pen. We're going to choose that. And you can see, without touching the screen, I can lay down some ink. Not really happy about this. Again, I can't do that when I'm touching the screen because I get that. I come down here, I can create a custom color. We can choose some shapes that we want to put on. So we've got some different features that we can deal with there. And then once we're done, we can copy this, lock it, edit it, do whatever we want, and we can turn it into all kinds of fun things that we want to deal with. If I want to insert a photo, I can go to my photo library and do that as well. Okay, that was Sundry Notes. Now let's take a look at WritePad. WritePad is very, very famous because it's written by Dan Bricklin, developed by Dan Bricklin, rather, the creator of VisiCal. This is an app if you want to do some handwriting recognition. We've got two ways to do this. Up here we can choose, gives you basically, tablet PC owners will be familiar with, it's kind of like a tip like interface. And if I write here, notice this is a test, okay, that it's going to, when I hit that button, insert it right here in the text. Okay, if I want to backspace and correct, I can backspace and correct, and then I can enter it in there as well. Or you go up here and select this mode right here. Let's make sure you can see those controls up there. I'm selecting this one right here. I can write, theoretically, if I'm not touching the screen with my hand, I can write anywhere on the screen, and you'll see that it recognized the text not very well, but it's going to go where your cursor insertion point is. I've never been very big on handwriting recognition, even with Windows, how that worked very, very, very well. My handwriting is just too illegible. I can't even say the word, much less write it, for handwriting recognition to work that well. But I know a lot of people are. This app, when I spend some time working with it, Works very, 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 very well. Because I don't do that kind of work that often, I have to retrain myself to make that work, especially here on the iPad. We've got some other controls here to take a look at. We can share files. We can keep the files awake, show scroll, auto hide the toolbar, pick different theme colors, this kind of thing. Down here we can different kinds of styles for entering what we want to do here. If I go to Green Dragon, we can see that basically it's themes as far as that's concerned. And here we've got, you can see down here we can use text, numbers, symbols, kind of thing there. Okay, different controls that we want to work with on this. We can even tweet it if we choose to. Help us. Okay, I'm not going to do that. And here we can insert a contact, share it versus via email, get location, translate, share note via Wi-Fi. So we have some different ways to operate with WritePad. Let's take a look at Mobile Noter. Now, Mobile Noter, you might remember a post I did on this. This is something I really want to work really, really well, and it doesn't yet. This allows me to sync notebooks back and forth with OneNote. This is what it looks like on the iPad. Bring up the testing notebook here, and you notice here, if I can get it in the screen here for you, we've got this pen icon there. If I do that and choose that, I'm going to be now this, okay, there we go, is inking. Again, no palm rejection, but you can do some inking on this. And let's say I'm done with that. Okay, and I go back to here, I choose this, and I can sync this back up with my OneNote notebooks, and that should be in OneNote the next time that I open it up. You've also got quick notes here. Well, I've got to wait for that to finish syncing, and you'll see that that's not exactly a fast process. But one of the things that drives me nuts about quick notes, I think I said this in the post that I did the other day, is that you think of a quick note, you think you want to take your stylus and you just want to jot something down. No, that's not the case here. Quick notes can only be used with text, meaning typing on the keyboard to get those in. I'll bring one up here and show you. There you go. See, I've inserted a picture into this quick note here, but you see that little line under that date stamp there? The camera's like flaring out on me there. Sorry about that. Doesn't that make you think that you can do ink? Well, you can't. If I want to enter a quick note here, I'm going to bring up the keyboard and enter in what I want to do there. So that just doesn't work for me well in Mobile Noter. Okay, iNapkin 2. Ever been to a restaurant? Ever scribbled out a phone number, idea, drawing, that kind of thing on a napkin? Well, that's what this is. I don't know if you can see it here, but the paper texture looks kind of like a unfolded napkin. Again, no palm rejection, but you can write on the napkin. It's kind of fun. We can also change what we're looking at here in terms and put a text box in if we wish to. But if you're going to do that, why are you going to put a text box on a napkin, I ask you? We can change the background. Okay, tall folded yellow pad here, let's go to that. So you don't have to do the napkin if you don't want to. I think if you're going to use this app to take some quick notes, you might as well. It's really kind of fun. Other than that, and hide the tools. Other than that, it's really kind of simple. It's a napkin. You do some. Whoop! I've still got the text up here. Let's get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Looks like I'm stuck in text mode and I don't know how to get out. Oh well. That's how that works. Let's go back to the pen. There we go. and let's choose that. And so if I want to make a drawing of a house, there we are. Some architect I am. I'm scribbling out on a napkin in a bar. Okay, that's kind of fun. Paper Desk. I don't think we looked at Paper Desk yet. Created on April 27th. I haven't used this app in a while, but it's going to seem very, very similar. We can ink. And again, we don't have any wrist protection here, so we've got some difficulties if that's kind of inking that you wish to do. We can choose our colors, we can make bookmarks, we can edit the document that we're working on and change the background and all of that good stuff, and yes, we can enter text. Okay, simple, straightforward. It kind of does the thing, but it also has audio recording, so we could choose to record, and wherever we're recording, it's picking up what we're doing here. So I'm going to stop the recording now as far as that's concerned. Change the pages. Works pretty well in terms of what you're dealing with. Again, not my cup of tea, but it might be yours. Okay, well, I've showed you the ones that I use here and have tested out. I've stated my preference. I need to have something with wrist protection. Penultimate seems to be the best solution for my inking needs. Perhaps you're different. Maybe you do want to do some handwriting recognition. Well, then if that's the case, you want to take a look at iPad. Perhaps the way your hand lays on the screen or works with a stylus, it's the Pogo Sketch stylus there, one of these other apps will work best for you. There's no easy way for me to say, hey, go out and do this one, use this one. It's going to be different for everybody depending on how their hand interacts with the iPad and with the apps and the algorithms they use for wrist protection and all of that kind of thing. But that's kind of an overview of what I've taken a look at here on the iPad. I'm sure there are many more. Hopefully you will find one that works for you. Let us know. This is Warner Crocker for GottaBeMobile.com saying, hey, thanks for checking out this Ink Show. Remember that Mobile Demand is our Ink Show sponsor, and head over to www.mobiledemand.com and check out what they have to offer. Hey, actually, let's do it this way. Let's say www.mobiledemand.com. There we go. Go check out what they do. They do rugged tablet PCs. This is Warner Crocker for GottaBeMobile.com saying, hey, we'll catch you on the next Ink Show. Take care.